Right, good afternoon and hello everyone, and thanks for joining us today for our webinar. This is our inaugural Friends with Benefits webinar. It's a series we're going to run every 2 weeks, and this is our provider edition. So this is where you're going to get to hear from some of the amazing providers that operate in the UK space, supporting clients in a number of different areas across health, finance, family, and lifestyle. Personally, really excited to start this series. It's something we've been talking about within Ben for a while. So, please do stay tuned to the invites that are coming out regularly for the sessions that are coming up over the next few weeks. Even more delighted to start this session off with Curam as our first, as I said, in terms of the new webinar series. By way of introductions, I'll start off with myself. So I'm Carl. I'm head of marketplace at Ben. And for those of you who don't know who Ben are, first of all, shame on you. But secondly, Ben are a flexible benefits platform provider. We operate globally. We support clients in over 130 countries around the world. And we are truly flexible in the way that we approach working with our clients and supporting their benefits. So we can map any client, any process or any provider onto our system. I won't go into loads of detail. If you want to have a chat about us, then feel free to reach out separately. What's more important is that we're here today to talk about Curam. So I'm delighted to say that we're joined by Chris Denny, who's Partnerships Director at Curam. And Chris, I'll hand over to you to do a brief introduction.
No, thanks, Carl, and hi everyone. My name's Chris Denny, Partnership Director at Curam. And first of all, delighted to participate in this first Thanks Ben webinar, which I'm sure will be really useful to clients and potential clients of Thanks Ben, and to share some thoughts on Curam's journey within social care.
Great. So from an agenda perspective, first of all, let's figure out who Curam are, for those of you who don't know. Then we're going to start to talk about some of the benefits to the employees, benefits to employer as well, how the setup works. And then finally, we'll finish off with enough time for you to ask any questions. So please feel free to put those questions through the channel at the bottom, and we'll pick those up at the end. This is where I stop talking and hand over to Chris fully. So Chris, we'll take it away, and we're delighted to hear from you.
Great. Thanks, Carl, again. So who are we and how can we help? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Curam and how we're doing things differently. So Curam's main aim is to use technology to transform how care is delivered. Now, we're the largest online care platform in the UK with around 5 million care hours delivered to date. We've also attracted the most experienced care professionals in the UK with a sector-leading average of 10 years experience amongst our care professionals. And that would compare to around 2 if you were to look at a traditional care agency. So in real time, you can quickly assess their availability, their skills and suitability by looking at their Curam profile. Curam also allows you to post a job detailing your loved one's care needs and share it with our community of over 9,000 care professionals instantly. We've also added a video feature called Curam Meet that allows employees to meet and chat with care professionals and see if they are the best fit for their loved one's care. Curam is available 24/7. So whenever you need support, whether it's emergency care, respite care, or even long-term care, Curam is here to help. We've had clients book care professionals to arrive in a hospital ward within 1 hour to transport them home. And in fact, our record recently was a client who signed up, posted a job, and had a carer on site within 29 minutes. And that was on a Saturday evening, and the care professional had, I think, 11 years experience. So it's super fast. The backdrop for employers is that an aging demographic is causing a sea change, both in who requires care and who is delivering it. As you can see from this chart, in 2024, for the first time, employees will need more elder care than childcare, which is a pretty dramatic stat and not a very well-known one. Elder care is a demographic time bomb, and the pressures have been building for many years. And this culminated in some recent legislation that gives employees a new statutory right to take 1 week of unpaid leave per year to provide a dependent with care. Many believe that this doesn't go far enough, and we're hearing that employer-funded or paid-for carers leave is very much on the Cabinet agenda, so we'll look out for developments there. The legislation attempts to address the symptoms of the problem, such as missing work, where one in seven people in the UK are silently caring for elderly dependents, and of these, 1 in 3 are missing up to 6 working days per year. There are also work-life trade-offs that discriminate against women, who are 4 times more likely to make that trade-off between work and care. And there is obviously an increasing need for elder care, where, as you saw on the previous slide, employees are now more likely to need elder care than childcare. So what are the benefits to employees? Unlike traditional care agencies, employees have complete choice and control on Curam over who they hire, and uniquely, this is available 24/7. As a tech business, we were able to charge the lowest fees in the industry, recycling tech savings to the care professional who earns more and the client who pays substantially less than a traditional agency. In terms of reliability, the King's Fund recently released a report about home care in England, and they found that only 85% of scheduled home care visits organised by care providers actually took place, leaving 15% missed, despite being paid for. The Curam care shift success rate is 99.9%, so you can trust that you'll only pay for the exceptional care you receive. We also believe we've got a best-in-class vetting process. We do bank-level biometric ID checks. We check enhanced DBS, right to work in the UK, qualifications are uploaded to the site. We take 2 points of reference, and we do an online interview. And actually, I think that an example of this in practice is that we uncover 1 false passport every week on average. We also offer a range of user-friendly features on the app, such as Curam Meet, which is a secure one-to-one video call where you can chat with applicants. And Family Circle, also on the app, is designed to keep all family members fully informed wherever they are. In terms of client reviews, as well as our own internal reviews, we actually use Doctify, which is the Trustpilot of healthcare. We have one of their highest ratings, 4.82, and also on Trustpilot, we are rated excellent. So what are the benefits to employers? Which many of you be keen to hear, no doubt. Well, Curam offers a one-stop solution to support caregivers in the workplace. There are many reasons why employers should consider elder care support. Firstly, as a recruitment or retention tool, 77% of those with elder care responsibilities consider elder care when reviewing a new job or promotion. Diversity is also an issue, with 84% of unpaid carers being women, who are 4 times more likely to give up work. So there are issues around diversity. Also, productivity and absenteeism. It's estimated that 1 in 3 informal carers miss more than 6 days per annum, which leads to £20 billion of lost productivity in the UK. And 1/3 of working carers believe they don't receive sufficient support from employers. In short, changes in the workplace, as well as statutory obligations, have brought elder care near the top of the HR agenda. Curam is a one-stop solution for employers looking to support elder care in the workplace, giving instant access to trusted care professionals, allowing employees to focus on work and avoid the resource issues presented by unpaid leave, as well as reduce productivity at crucial moments. Care is available at scale within budget. It allows employees to book care easily 24/7, and they are empowered to book care in real time and actually choose who delivers it, using a tried and tested approach to care with 5 million care hours already delivered. So how does setup work? Well, the good news is that there is no cost to use the platform, and employees have instant access via a link in the Ben portal. Step one, to access Curam, you do that through your employee benefits page via the Ben portal. Next, you can use Curam to search for care professionals in the area where you'd like the care to take place. You can browse their profiles to see if they'd be a good match and message them via the app to arrange a call or video call. Or you can detail your loved one's care needs and post a job to our pool of over 9,000 care professionals. Once posted, care professionals can apply directly to the job, and you then have the freedom to browse their Curam profiles and schedule a call on Curam Meet. And lastly, once you've found your perfect care professional, they will send over a service agreement for you to approve and an invoice, all on the platform. And Curam's Family Circle allows you and your family to be kept up to date with a loved one's care throughout care shifts. We're constantly adding innovations that improve outcomes for employees and employers. The first is a postcode box widget that can be embedded on the Ben portal. Employees can then put in their postcode where they need the care and then be taken directly to a co-branded guest account preloaded with available care professional profiles. Also, in response to employers who contribute free hours in either childcare, pet care or elder care, we're introducing a virtual wallet preloaded with a live balance of available hours, which will involve a little integration work via an API, so we can have that live balance sitting in our account. Once the employees go over that balance, they will be asked to self-pay via our usual means on the platform. With that, I'd like to play a short summary video and thank everyone very much for your attention.
From the 6th of April, when the Carers Leave Act is introduced, it'll be one of the biggest changes in HR in a generation. Get ready for the big change. It gives your employees the new statutory right to take 1 week of unpaid leave per year to provide a dependent with a care need. Right now, 1 in 7 people in the UK are caring for elderly dependents. Of these, 1 in 3 are missing up to 6 working days per year. For employees, this leads to stress, missed opportunities and multiple well-being issues, with women being 4 times more likely to make a personal trade-off between work and care. In 2024, for the first time, employees will need more elder care than childcare. For employers like your business, it causes resource issues, even zero productivity at crucial moments. With the imminent introduction of the Carers Leave Act, it's the various costs to organisations like yours that's making executives, benefits managers and HR teams look for the answer. And what they want, of course, is a one-stop solution that includes a tried and tested approach to elder care. By partnering with us, you can meet the challenge. Essentially, we've the elder care solution in a box. An established technology platform that means you deliver on what's often needed, a full service offering, or choose specific elements. CQC regulated and IR35 compliant, it gives your employees the opportunity to hire carers 24/7 across the UK. For this to be of real value, they're available at exactly the point when they're needed. Carers can be hired in minutes, 24/7, often in real time. They're the most experienced carers in the UK, with a sector-leading average of more than 10 years. We've more than 10,000 approved carers. All are enhanced DBS checked and biometrically verified to the most stringent banking standards. Using the app's Family Circle, your employees can remotely monitor the status of a client's condition, providing valuable assurance. To date, Curam's proven technology and nationwide coverage has provided people with more than 4 million hours of care, empowering thousands of hardworking employees who are also family carers. Get ready for the big change.
Great. Thank you, Chris. That was really interesting, and I think certainly an area that that I think resonates with a lot of people in terms of elder care. I think it's really surprising to me to see that elder care is overtaking childcare. Though I knew that was happening in certain geographies around the world, but to see that in the UK as well, really, really surprising. And the trajectory over the next few decades as well is particularly scary, I guess. In terms of that. I guess I suppose I had a few thoughts, and I guess I'd really be interested to know what do most people use your services for? Is it one-off care needs, or is it a more longer-term sort of care solution thereafter?
Yeah, no, good question, Carl. It's the whole range. To be honest, we've got a mixture, as you point out, of sort of last minute, which works super well on our platform because it's 24/7, and you can use the technology. You can really work that technology to get the speed in for last minute. If you've got an emergency, your existing carer is sick, or you want to get someone out of hospital, works really well for that last minute emergency stuff. Then we've got respite care. Someone is going on holiday, who normally cares for a loved one, and filling in those gaps, or just needs a break. Frankly, could be a few hours here, could be a week's holiday, and then we have a lot of ongoing, either hourly, overnight, sleeping nights, waking nights. We've got a big chunk of live-in care, either as respite live-in care, or ongoing live-in care packages where you'll have two carers operating side by side to cover a client. And then, as well as that, we've got to the point where we've got sufficient liquidity in the UK that we've got a lot of care businesses. So actually, we have care homes and care agencies who use us for backup care. We've got uniquely, we've got 2,700 care professionals or support workers who've got brain injury experience and skills. So we've got 300 case managers who deal with really complex care needs, sign up to the platform and using our support workers, where the budgets go a lot further and they can access care quickly. So really, it's a whole mix of all different types of care.
Sure. Yeah, understood. And I guess sort of my naivety here, because I've not experienced this personally, but for companies or individuals that don't have the support from Curam, what is the first port of call in a period of emergency, or or one-off care needs, or someone that's looking for more sort of longer term solutions? What's the sort of process people have to go through, and I guess how do you guys simplify that through a number of ways? But I'm just curious, I guess, as to what what do people do when they don't have you guys supporting them?
Yeah, so the journey is varied. Some of them will come from GP, will have to get advice from a GP or district nurse, or hospital if they're in hospital, on various options, depending on their assets and income. They will either be in or out of the local authority net in terms of funding. So if they're below certain thresholds, they'll get care funded by local authority, either via direct payment card or directly. Most people, those thresholds are very low, so most people are forced into self-funded care, and it's not a pleasant experience, a customer experience, because most people only ever need to hire a carer once or twice in their life, so they're coming to something that's totally new and alien to them at a very stressful time. And so a lot of people go on Google and just search, I need a carer, etc. And they're presented then with a hugely confusing set of potential companies who can help them. And it's not always clear when they go onto Google whether the company that wants to help them out with their care needs has their own carers, whether they're an aggregator, a sort of yellow pages signposting to care agencies, or whether they're a traditional care agency themselves. And so there's a lot of confusion around that journey. And I think the challenge we're trying to address is to provide, a one-stop shop where they can come onto our platform and they can see real people who are and review profiles and choose. We think it's fundamentally important for clients and employees to be able to choose who's going to care for their loved ones, because it's a very personal match. And with traditional agencies, that's very hard. You can occasionally get to interview a care professional at an agency, but generally you don't. You get who you're given, and that carer might change from week to week, which is not a good outcome for the recipient of care. Continuity of care is very, very important, particularly for dementia patients. The same person come week in, week out, and we feel that because our care professionals earn on average 40-50% more than essentially minimum wage, which is what they earn at a traditional care agency, that's attracted a more experienced cohort of carers. A quarter of our base of 9,000 care professionals are returning to care because they're earning what they should be earning, and particularly with the cost of living crisis in the southeast, frankly they can't afford to work for minimum wage, and so you're seeing 30% turnover rates across the industry. Well, we're bringing people back to care who will work for 14-15 pounds an hour but can't afford to work for £11.44.
Yeah. And it's interesting, because I like I say, I've not experienced this, and I imagine for most people, the first time they experience it, they just don't know where to turn. So, if I didn't have the support from Curam, I'd probably turn to Google as well, and goodness knows where you'd end up if you go down that rabbit hole potentially. So, no, I completely get that. We've had a few questions in, Chris, so we'll dive into them if that's okay with you. So, I think a few of these we may have covered off a little bit, but it'd be great to just firm up on a few answers. So the first one was around, and I think, again, you've answered this, but specialist training and experience from your carers around certain conditions. So I know you mentioned there's some of the sort of more brain injury areas, but specifically things like dementia and things like that. I assume you have carers trained in supporting people in dementia and Alzheimer's, etc.
Yeah, training is something we take very seriously, and we offer 200 free training modules to our care professionals, and we actively encourage them through our comms to upskill, because ultimately the more qualifications and skills you can acquire, the bigger the range of jobs you can apply for. Specifically on dementia care, something like 80 or 85% of our care professionals have experience and qualifications in that area. So very, very high indeed. As I said before, 2,700 brain injuries. But we have the whole range of skill sets, from people who are really only doing sort of companionship, lower intensity care roles, all the way through to complex acquired brain injuries. So we have the whole range. The only thing we have a very strict vetting policy, and we will only allow someone to come onto the platform if they've got 2 years experience in care in the UK. As I said, our average is 10 years. So there's been a flood of the government opened the floodgates last year by the back door to essentially a lot of tier 4 student visas who are using social care as a loophole to stay in the UK and get jobs, and that unfortunately had the adverse effect of flooding the market with a lot of people. I mean, some with a lot of enthusiasm to become carers, but equally a lot who had no real intention of going into care, had poor English and very little experience in the care sector. So I think we differentiate ourselves on those skill levels.
Sure, understood. I think we covered off a bit about the background checks, but did qualification-wise, what do carers need to have in terms of qualifications?
So it depends. So it depends. So enhanced DBS was not really a qualification, but it's a stipulation. We log them. So when you post a job, the job will only go out to people with those qualifications. So if you put a brain injury, it will only go out to the care professionals who've got the qualifications in that area, and that's why you can sort and filter care professionals by their skills. But we've essentially they've uploaded them. All the carers have to be on the app. That's their only access point, and they have to upload their qualifications into our system, which are checked by us, and then they're essentially filtered according to those qualifications. So there's no real set minimum, but we log them and you can filter by them.
Sure. Okay, great. So a question here from Stacey. So we're new to using Ben. Congratulations, good choice. If we wanted to go ahead and add Curam to our Ben portfolio, how do we go about doing that? So Stacey, reach out to your customer success manager, or feel free to drop me an email. It's Carl with a C at thanksben.com. And I can have a conversation with you about how we go about setting that up. And then a final question here around costs. So I know you mentioned, Chris, the platform's free. Obviously, there are costs associated to the, depending on what the care package that's given. Can you talk us through that a little bit around the costs, and I guess how the costs differ perhaps from any other route of access than through Curam?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So a traditional domiciliary care agency would charge out, depending on the job, but would charge out at sort of £25-30 an hour. And as I said before, the carer will be lucky if they receive more than minimum wage. And a lot of the bit in the middle, some is profit clearly, but a lot of it is consumed in admin, manual processes. We've tried to eliminate those by automating a lot of the onboarding for carers and clients, and that's taken out huge swathes of the costs in the middle. So what that's enabled us to do is to have the lowest fees. Our average, it varies week to week. Our average hourly cost of care is around £19, including all fees, of which the care professional receives £16 of that, roughly, around 85%. And we also set minimums because we don't want anyone to abuse the system. We're all about making sure care professionals earn what they should, and so we don't allow anyone to transact at below £14.15, which is our minimum hourly rate, including all fees. And our minimum live-in rate is £800. Our average live-in rate is about £1,100, including all fees, depending on whether it's a managed service or not. So those are roughly the averages. So they would compare very favourably to a traditional domiciliary care agency. Now, they will depend. If you want someone to do an hour of care in a remote location, we're essentially a marketplace, so you're going to have to pay more than the average to get someone to go out for an hour. And likewise, if it's a shift of 8-10 hours, it might be considerably less because it's an attractive job. So it depends on location, liquidity of care professionals, and type of job.
Sure. Yeah, understood. So I think, from my perspective, it's, worked with you guys a little bit. And I think, the propositions, from what we've discussed today, that, the costs stack up. It's, you guys are doing that sort of the vetting piece around the carers. And I just think the ease of access piece is so big for me, because like I said, I just wouldn't know where to turn. So I really love this benefit. And I think it's something that, a lot of clients will, I'm sure, take more interest in. As you say, now the elder care topic is firmly on the agenda of HR and employers. So, Chris, first of all, thanks ever so much for your presentation today and for your time and for answering those questions. Anyone that has an interest in speaking to us about Curam, if you're a Ben client, please do reach out to us and we can put you in touch. If you're not a client, or if you want to speak to Curam directly, then Chris's details are on the screen right now. Feel free to reach out directly as well. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope it was an informative and interesting session. Like I say, the first of many, and really delighted to kick this off with Curam. So thanks again, Chris, and thanks everyone for joining. And we'll give you a few minutes of your time back.
Not at all. Thanks very much, everyone.